Hotel El Palace has been widely regarded as the best hotel in Barcelona for 100 years. Monarchs, aristocrats, and musicians have called it home during that time. It is a very interesting hotel. It's a mixture of new spirit innovation with a century of wisdom. So of course, I had to do a full review. I travel around the world and review the best hotels out of 50 points in 5 categories. The categories are the ambiance, the room, the dining, the service, and the it factor. I'm not associated with the hotel, just a guest paying full price and staying here. This originally was the Ritz of Barcelona, one of the first Ritzes in the entire world. They've retained a lot of their architecture and design, so we have to start with the ambiance. Here in the grand entrance of the hotel, you have the doormen and women as well as the concierge all greeting you. The concierge here are members of the prestigious Le Clef d'Or organization, and later in the service segment, I'll tell you more about what that means exactly. Walking in, there's this immediate sense of history mixed with this new age edge and style. The music that they're playing in here is a mixture of jazz and rock and roll. On the rooftop, they have a full pool here overlooking the city. The decor and design of this area is all very French. So you have the olive trees and kind of simple, minimalistic looking design items here. I personally love French design and decor. I just feel like it's so comforting and calming, especially when you want to just have a day lounging by the pool. It's a pretty small pool and pretty small area, but as you can see, there's almost never anyone here. So it's not like you're going to spend a lot of your time in the fitness facilities here, but this is the gym. It's truly 2 treadmills, a Stairmaster, and a recumbent bike with some very small free weights. And it's definitely not a focus of this hotel. In fact, if more than 4 people were in here, it would be truly uncomfortable. So if you're looking for fitness, El Palace is not the spot to do that. This kind of feels like an afterthought. Let's keep it moving. The spaces are incredibly beautiful and curated. They've had over 100 years to design them, but even so, the wallpapering, the furnishing, the artwork is incredible. All of the spaces feel distinctly different from each other, yet still have a very nice symbiotic feel in the hotel. The use of natural light in all of the space, the areas like the one behind me are just amazing. You could spend all day here and not even leave the hotel. The only thing that offsets that from a perfect score is it's a relatively small hotel for how much space it takes up here in Barcelona. All of that in mind, and considering the gym could definitely be a little bit better, I gave the ambiance an 8 out of 10. So now they just texted us and let us know the room is officially ready, and you're not going to believe how they give you their room key. So there are 120 rooms here at the El Palace Hotel, and all of them come with this old school key that's actually pretty heavy. So beyond this room, there are 6 art suites here at the hotel, but I want to show you the base room. This may be a 100-year-old hotel, but every one of their guest rooms still feels like it's brand new. Let me show you what I mean. On the wall throughout the entire hotel room, they've added this incredible textured fabric that truly looks brand new. The carpeting is all perfectly clean. All of the furniture looks like it was just recently renovated and rebuilt or redone. And the room itself looks fresh and modern, but it still has that old school touch of a timeless legacy hotel. Right when you walk in, you see this massive California king-size bed. So I'm going to sleep in this bed and do a full bed test of it in the morning, but at first glance, it looks firm. Maybe not the most comfortable bed that I've ever seen, but there are a good amount of pillows and it looks very crisp and clean. So here you have a fireplace that does not work. So I actually opened this earlier and there's no wood in there. It's not gas, it truly just does not work. But above it, there's this mirror here, but if you look closely, you'll notice that this is actually the TV for the room. On this side of the room, it's impossible to miss the natural, beautiful light coming through with the flowers here, looking out into Barcelona. Really one of the best parts of this room. Look at that view. On this side of the bed, some interesting features. All of the light switches are nondescript, unlabeled buttons that you push to turn on and off different lights. So a little bit of a guessing game there, but definitely a cool function in the room and interesting, something that I haven't seen before. Speaking of something I haven't seen before, check out this hidden compartment. Great piece of art, right? Think again. Behind this wall here, there's a hidden refrigerator and mini bar where you have almonds, gummies, and some crackers. So very, very small selection, some teas in there as well. But how cool is it that it's behind this door? That's something about the Al Palace Hotel. It has that century-old tradition. There's almost a tongue-in-cheek kind of comedy or humor or whimsy to this hotel. And this really alludes to that. Let's go test the shower. Now into the bathroom here, you can see the style and the design changes dramatically. So it's all now a mixed granite with white and touches of sage. It is a modern bathroom. In fact, you have this towel heater rack that is on the wall here. There's a very large, beautiful looking shower that I'm going to test here in just a moment. Of course, you've got your robe, a dual vanity, and all of the amenities are a partnership between Al Palace and the Today Project. Overall, it's a great bathroom, especially for this size of room. But it is time to test the shower. The shower test is 3 criteria points. That is the size, the ease of use, and the pressure. So right away, you can see how large this shower is for a base level room. It is a massive rain shower up here above you. You also have the handheld, 2 pretty simple and easy to use nozzles on the side. Let's give it a try. So that's the side handle. There's a little image there to make sure it's very clear. Turn this here. Got a nice rain shower that comes down. The pressure is great for a rain shower. Gets warm quickly. Size, excellent, very easy to use, and the pressure was very good. Definitely Ryan approved. This room goes for, at the time of this recording, 500 euros per night, or around 600 US dollars. I'm gonna change into this robe, give the bed an official test, and then we'll give it a room score in the morning. So before I put this on and get ready for sleep here, I want to tell you a little bit more about those very unique artist suites that they have. All 6 of these suites are customized and themed to different types of art and the legendary artists that live there. The 6 different suites are the Sculptor's Suite, the Architecture Suite, the Writer's Suite, the Painter's Suite, and the Dancer's Suite, and of course, the Musician's Suite, which is the Ronnie Wood Al Palace Hotel Musician Suite. Ronnie Wood was the guitarist for the Rolling Stones. He actually wrote a lot of his music right here in the Al Palace Hotel. He curated all of the art in that room and handpicked the jukebox that is right in the center. And I know all of this because I've stayed in that suite before. Yes, this is my 2nd time staying at the Al Palace Hotel. It was an incredible experience. That jukebox plays Rolling Stones songs all night. It is truly felt in the walls and the halls of this iconic hotel. Before I officially go to sleep here and let you know how this bed is in the morning, I'm going to call the front desk and order room service for tomorrow. Now in the service segment a little bit later, we're going to take a look at if the food was on time, if it was fresh and hot, but for right now, let's call the front desk and see if they can accommodate an early morning breakfast.
Service?
Hi there, I was wondering if I could place an order for tomorrow morning, please.
What time would you like it to be served to your room, sir?
Could we do 7 a.m., please?
Perfect. What would you like to have?
Could I please do 1 black coffee and an Eggs Benedict?
Would you like to have salmon or bacon with the eggs benedict?
What do you recommend?
I prefer the salmon one, and yeah, it's really great.
Let's do the salmon, please.
Look, we will send it to your room tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock.
Have a great night. Let's get some sleep. Not the most comfortable bed, by far. The mattress is pretty hard and it is large, so you have a lot of space here, and the pillows are very plush and comfortable, but the mattress itself is a little bit worn down. So fun fact, every hotel replaces their mattress every 3 to 5 years in the luxury space. If you don't do that, with just how many people are rotating in on it, it starts to get really worn down. So this one is starting to feel like it has not been rotated out in a long time. Definitely will contribute to the room score. Let's go talk about it. So it's now time to give it an official room score. So on the positive side, the room is so clean. It has been here for over a century and still is so impressively well maintained. You have that very interesting art piece that opens up into the mini bar, which was just excellent, and of course, this balcony and this view. On the negative side, there is no coffee machine in the rooms. Also, the bed was okay, slightly above average, nothing to write home about, and the room itself isn't the largest or the most modern. So considering all of this, I gave the room a 7 out of 10. Now I heard that they serve breakfast in a garden here at the El Palace. Let's go give it a review. There are 4 restaurants here: El Jardín, The Hall, the Rooftop Garden, and Amar Barcelona. There may even be a hidden speakeasy that we'll look for later. Good morning from El Jardín. This is a greenhouse breakfast restaurant. They have a full buffet and an a la carte menu. Everything is looking pretty good, so I'm excited to give it a try. There's a retractable roof over the top of this restaurant. It looks like you are transplanted into Italy or France. All of the pottery and statues, it's just really a comfortable and peaceful place. So a couple of bites in now, I can say that honestly, it's not the best buffet that I've seen by far at a hotel. In fact, that definitely goes to the Four Seasons in Seoul. I still think about that buffet from time to time. But anyway, here at El Palace, the eggs themselves kind of feel similar to what you would get at like a motel maybe for a complimentary breakfast. It's not potentially even real eggs. The coffee is wonderful, and the Iberico ham, which is everywhere in Spain, of course, all very nice. But generally, once again, kind of feeling a little bit bummed because this area itself is so beautiful. It is such a gorgeous restaurant. Unfortunately, it's not matched in the flavors or in the options that you have available at the buffet. Let's keep moving with the dining segment. So the second garden restaurant here is called the Rooftop Garden. So literally another garden that they have. So you can have lunch here or dinner. I ordered, once again, the most popular things on the menu. Let's see how it is. So this is the most popular thing on this menu. It's a very small menu. This is the El Palace Burger. Look at that. It's got this special sauce here that they have. It's a very thick patty. Let's give it a try. Oh man. You can see it's dripping here. There's so much in it. There we go. Very good flavor. I mean, it's hard to do a bad cheeseburger. They've added a Thousand Island sauce to this. Look at that. This thing is just, it's just really dripping here. Really well-cooked burger, maybe a little too cooked. Ordered a medium rare, so it's pretty dark for that. It is a great dish. I can see why it's super popular. There's some thick cut fries here. Those are okay. Definitely the star of the dish is the burger. We're still waiting on the olives. I'm excited to try that. So apparently the olives and the burger were the two must-haves on this menu. Let's see how those are. Look at those, wow. So the olives came out. Of course, being in Spain, the olives should be extraordinary. There really is nothing like a good Spanish olive. It is such a rich, creamy texture and flavor to it. These are close to the best olives that I have ever had. For lunch here at El Palace, this is the hall, which you can already see behind me is incredibly elegant. All of their plating and dishware is fine china. There's multiple different colors here. Everything in this restaurant really represents that classic heritage of the hotel. There's a sunroof with natural light coming through, and I can't wait to try the most popular thing on the menu. So the first dish that came out here is the tempura artichokes. There's an entire artichoke section of the menu with romesco, so this is the most traditional. It's primarily tempura flavor, which is a little overpowering. Generally, it's a great tasting dish, but I would love to see the artichoke be a little bit more forward in this one. So the main course for lunch here just came out. This is apparently the most popular thing. This is the chicken cannoli. It came with a side of peasant bread, as they call it, which is just a thick cut hard loaf of bread with some whipped butter. So we'll try that in just a moment, but I cannot wait to dive into this cannoli here. Look at this. That is so strange. It almost melts in your mouth when you eat it. You can't taste the actual cannoli on the outside. It's very heavy chicken flavor. It's a Comté cream underneath here, but you can see even as I'm taking bites here, it's very dense. Something about that is not really resonating with me. So this is now the peasant bread, very thick piece of bread, very nice whipped butter. Put a little on top. Okay. It almost has a sourdough flavor to it. I don't mind it at all. It's a nice bread. It's pretty neutral. It's not warm. It's room temperature. It's quite dry, but you can tell they baked it right here, fresh, probably this morning. I don't know why it's such a thick slice though. It makes it difficult to share or to take a bite of. So that was the haul for lunch here at the Palace, and overall I was not overly impressed, but I keep hearing that the dinner here is exceptional. Let's go check that out. This is the dinner restaurant here, Amar Barcelona. It is one of the most well-regarded restaurants in the entire city. It is seafood gastronomy tonight. And I'm gonna ask for some recommendations for the best things on the menu and incorporate that into the dining scroll. Three of the most requested oysters on the menu, which are all from different regions of the world, from Peru to Asia, and then the United States. You have the Bloody Mary oyster here. So the first one was the Asian oyster in a ponzu sauce. It is a very heavy fish flavor to it. You can't really taste the ponzu, but it definitely is chilled and fresh. Moving on to the Peru. So this is a ceviche style oyster. I can see why that one is requested so often. That is delicious. The citrus blends beautifully into the dish. The kumquat, there's some texture in there. Wow, this is the Bloody Mary oyster. That is a really excellent dish overall. I wouldn't go for the ponzu, but the other two, great start to the dinner. So although the menu here is international and of course very seafood heavy, they have a French style of placing the dishes and of serving. The way it's also presented and cooked here is in a French style. So this is one of their fish that they have on the menu. Oh wow, it just completely melts. That is some of the best fish I have ever had, truly, at any restaurant. It is so tender. The flavors mix together perfectly. A little bit of sweet, savory, some of that melted butter on the bottom. Wow, that is an extraordinarily good dish. I wish you could try this. You know, I had my reservations on the dining here, to be honest, at El Palace through the other restaurants so far. This alone is gonna bring up the score at least a point. After that incredible fish dish, you have to try the dessert at a place like this. So I got the profiterole tower with a toffee syrup. You pour it on top and then dip them into a cream sauce that they give you. One thing that's very cool about this menu, they have their desserts here, and then if you're interested in making them yourself, they teach you the recipe in the following pages, which is a very nice touch. Usually they safeguard some of those recipes for things like this, especially if they're as good as they look, but here they're willing to share. Oh, wow. I don't really know how to start explaining that. Chocolate's hot, cream sauce is cold, the filling is cold, but the actual outer exterior of this is hot. So there's a lot of temperature changes going on. A beautifully crystallized shell on the outside of the profiterole itself, which has a really nice brown sugar crunchiness to it. Oh, this is dangerous. Well, I'm definitely impressed. There's one more impressive thing here at the El Palace Hotel, and that's their hidden speakeasy bar that is in the basement of this hotel and has been for over 100 years. Tonight there's some live music. So let's end the dining review taking a look. So through the nondescript door in the lobby and down the stairs is this speakeasy at the El Palace Hotel called the Bluesman's Lounge. They have live music here almost every single night. And if you've seen the channel before, you know I love a good speakeasy. So after trying all of the restaurants here at the El Palace, I can say with confidence that I was pretty disappointed. I was so excited for a lot of these dishes. They looked so interesting and different, and then the flavors didn't meet that expectation. The exception was the dinner restaurant, Amar. That fish was truly one of the best that I've ever had. So beautifully cooked, and the desserts were also amazing. So both of those bumped up the score pretty significantly, but otherwise it would have been one of the lowest. There are a lot of options here for dining. You have 4 different restaurants to choose from, but unfortunately you may not like the majority of the options that you choose, or maybe that was just my experience. I gave the dining a 6.5 out of 10. So you remember how earlier I talked about the Le Clef d'Or concierge? Well, on the website it says that no is not in their vocabulary. The dining service was pretty good, but let's really put it to the test. All right, so it is 7:01 here, and they have delivered the Eggs Benedict and the hot coffee. So we're going to see if the food is fresh and hot. The presentation looks incredible, and then test the coffee to make sure it's hot as well. All right, so the coffee is pretty hot here. It's actually perfect. Okay, excellent. Let's test the eggs. Nice. So it's hard to see because they have the hollandaise sauce on there, but it's a perfect yolk. Looks amazing. Everything is fresh. It was made moments ago, but the flavors aren't very strong and they don't work very well together. The real test here is the timing and how fresh and hot the food is. So they definitely passed this section of the service segment, but we won't know the final service score until we do the official test. The service test is the part of my review where I call the front desk and ask for something a little out of the ordinary, but still doable for the hotel. It's less about if they do it and more about if they try to accommodate it and how they respond to the request. In the past, I've asked for an entire tent to be built in the room, s'mores on the beach, and for ice to fill the bathtub in the room. Here in Barcelona, we're in one of the capitals of football, or soccer, in the world. It was where Messi played most of his career, and there is a huge fandom here. I'm gonna call the front desk and see if they can do something around a football.
Hello, this is Gasolitos. How can I help you?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could order a football to the room.
Yes, we don't have it in the hotel, but I can go out and buy it for you.
Oh, fantastic. I have one more request for you. Would it be possible to have everyone here, all of the staff at El Palace, to sign the football?
Of course. Okay, so what a fun idea. So we will go out and buy the ball for you, and we all sign
Oh, you're kidding. That would be amazing.
it, and it will be our gift from us to you.
Wow. All right, let's go walk around the hotel and see what that football looks like. So the hotel was unable to accommodate a late checkout, which is something that's usually standard at luxury 5-star hotels. They did let me know at the front, however, that they are at 100% occupancy, which is very rare for a 100-year-old hotel. Let's see. Wow, okay, look at this. Here is the special ball for you, signed by the El Palace team. We really enjoyed doing this for you. We are here for you whenever you may need. Have a lovely evening. Wow, the whole El Palace team. Let's see how they did. Wow, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Wow, this is a Barcelona football signed by the staff. I will save this forever. Wow. Incredible. Well, let's give them a service score. The service score takes into account the service test, the breakfast, the dining service, as well as the service around the hotel in general. The service test was passed remarkably. In fact, one of the best service tests on the channel so far. They made me feel good for even asking about it, which is always a really good sign as a guest here. The breakfast service test was on time, it was hot and fresh, and the service around the hotel has been very accommodating. That Le Clefs d'Or distinction that they have really shows up in the concierge, and the concierge, in fact, really doesn't say no to any requests. In fact, when I stayed here the first time, I was upgraded to that Ronnie Wood suite and got to experience where a lot of the Rolling Stones music was actually written, which is very, very cool. On the flip side of that, not in every restaurant was I asked about my dietary restrictions or allergies, and there were a few scenarios where I felt like the staff were a little bit rude, but honestly, for a legacy historical hotel, it was very, very minor, and the ego here is almost non-existent. So with all of this in mind, the service here is an 8 out of 10. So the it factor for a hotel is that special thing that makes you want to come back again and again and tell your friends and family about it. And the it factor here is very distinct. The El Palace Hotel is located in the center of Barcelona, steps away from the historic Gothic quarter, and you can even see La Sagrada Familia Church behind here. It's a great location for this hotel and has been since Barcelona really was becoming a popular tourist destination. And just listen to this guest list here at the El Palace Hotel. They've hosted everyone from Freddie Mercury to Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Salvador Dali, and Ronnie Wood. They've all either stayed or performed in this hotel. They donate €1 for every single guest that stays here to La Escolania de Montserrat School, which has a children's choir. All of their initiatives are sustainable, eco-friendly, and plastic-free, so the slippers in the room, for example, as you can see here, are completely made out of recycled cardboard. Beyond that, they donate all of their extra food to the elders in churches nearby. So their nonprofit initiatives here are impressive and better than what we normally see at luxury hotels like this. But is the hotel worth it? So other hotels in the luxury space we've seen at higher price points per night. So given the room and the amenities, I do think that the value is there. However, you'll see that there's no welcome amenity when you check in. There's no amenities in the room, there's nothing complimentary anywhere throughout the hotel, so get ready to pay every single time you do anything here, including for coffee. All of the restaurants that you saw in this review were a minimum of €100 per restaurant. With all of that in mind, however, it is still very much so the best hotel in Barcelona, and it does make it worth it for a great luxury stay while you're in the city. It is an old school hotel with a modern flair, that rock and roll feel mixed with the classic Spain. It really just has a special feeling when you're here. With all of that being said, there are other buildings in the area that are of course well over 100 years old. There are other hotels that are quite similar to this in Spain as far as architecture and design, but it is hard to find what doesn't make this hotel unique because there is so much. I gave the it factor here at the El Palace an 8.5 out of 10. So, there you have it. That was the El Palace Hotel here in Barcelona, Spain. Overall, I definitely recommend this hotel next time you're in Barcelona. It is still very much the best hotel in the city. If you add all of the scores together throughout this review, I gave El Palace Hotel in Barcelona a 38 out of 50. Thank you for watching. I'm Ryan Walker, and we'll see you on the next one.